Rav Shmuel Amar. In the Mishnah it said that if you have a Isra of Ma'aser Sheni, which your father left you as inheritance, so then you can eat on that, on the basis of that, 11 and 1/100th isarim of grain. In other words, we assume that one of Ma'aser Sheni corresponds to 11, which were already properly redeemed, 11 and 1/100th. Now, we mentioned yesterday the 1/100th is lav dafka. It's really 11 and 1/9, because that's the proportion. But the 1/100th is meant to be representative of the Trumas Ma'aser, which you can eat here because we assume that the Trumas Ma'aser was taken off externally and not internally. That was in a nutshell what we said yesterday. So now the Gemara is going to say that out inside, and Shmuel is going to say, Shmuel Amar, Lo matzia tanya. The truth is that the specific amount over 11 which you can eat cannot be specified. Why is that? Because it's an irrational number, right? Because it's 1.11111111, and therefore instead of saying it's 11.11111111, so then they just say it's 11 and 1/100th, connoting the Trumas Ma'aser aspect, but then not getting into the details. Why is that? In Yasav Chad La'asara, even if once you've taken 1 out of 10, right, working the other way around, right? Now, we said that if you take my Trumas Ma'aser, you take Ma'aser Sheni off of grain, so you take 1 out of every 10, which means it's a proportion of 1 to 9, right? So now you have, let's say you took, the thing is, you have, let's say you have 10 upon which you want to take Ma'aser Sheni externally. So you have to take 1, which patters up 9. And then for the next 1 which you have left, you have to take 0.1, right? Which passes up another 0.9. And then you have to take another 0.01, which passes up the remaining 0.1, and so on and so forth ad nauseum. Although eventually it's going to be infinitesimally small and won't count anymore, but that's what you have to do. So that's what Gemara says. It's not possible to enunciate that concept sufficiently well. The Shmuel Amar Lo Matzeh Tanya, you can't say exactly what number you have to take off because it's an irrational number. It's 11. It's 1.1111111111. So therefore, it means in Yasiv Chad La'asara Tzarich L'Meisav Chad L'Meah. If you took off 1 for 10, you have to take off another 1/100th. In Yasiv Chad L'Meah, if you took off 1/100th, Tzarich L'Meisav Chad L'Elf, you still have to take off 1 for 1,000. In Yasiv Chad L'Elf, once you take off 1 for 1,000, Tzarich L'Meisav Chad L'Aseret L'Elf, you have to take off 1 for 10,000. Again, it's a point of ever diminishing returns, but you have to constantly take off in order to make up that irrational number of 0.11111111, and so on and so forth. So therefore, instead of saying that that you have to constantly be taking off ever smaller amounts of a proportion of 1 to 10, so the Brisa, the Mishnah just said that this one Isser, Ma'aser Rishon, exempts an Isser and 11 Isser and 1/100th of an Isser, lav dafka 1/100th, but the shiur of whatever additional is necessary. Okay, is that clear what's going on here? We just chazed over that point from last night. That it's an whenever you're taking Ma'aser Sheni off externally, you come up with an irrational number of how much you have to take off, because it's going to be 11.1111111, and so on.
All numbers are irrational.
Yeah. Okay. Says more. Hurry, Rabbi Yehuda and Beisila, Beishamai, but it's a typo. It should be Beisila. Beisila, by the way, that's for you. Beisila Omrim Bevadai Echad Asor with Demai Asora. By Demai, it's by Vadai. So then you assume that the father didn't take off Trumas Ma'aser. No, it's Beisil, sorry. So you assume that the father did take off Trumas Ma'aser, and therefore it's you're allowed to eat up to 11.11111, etc. Over the Ma'aser, by Dmai, I say that he only took off corresponding to 10, meaning only that which corresponds to the Ma'aser Sheni is rectified, and he might not never taken off the Ma'aser Rishon and Trumas Ma'aser, so I can't rely on anything more than 10. Says the Gemara, Tani Bar Kapora Bein B'Dmai Bein Vadai Chodesorein. Both by Dmai and Vadai, you get to eat a full amount corresponding to what Ma'aser Rishon would have rectified and what Trumas Ma'aser from it would have rectified. Hor Rabbi Yudan Bei Rabbi Shalom, Rabbi Yudan Paskin House of Rabbi Shalom, Ke'adod the Tani Bar Kapora. Like Bar Kapora said, that you even if you knew it was Dmai, you still assume that the father, the Amoritz, took off both the Ma'aser Rishon and Ma'aser Sheni, and that's why what you can eat corresponds to 11.11111. How is this? Because should begin Beis Hillel, Tani Bar Kapora Beis Hillel, Rabbi Eliezer, Beis Hillel, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Eliezer Omar, Haneman al Sheni, Neman al Rishon. If you're believed on Ma'aser Sheni, you also believe in Ma'aser Rishon as well. Now, the next few lines are not relevant to our Gemara. They fell in here by mistake from Dmai, where that sugi of how much you have to take off is mentioned. Everybody agrees, but not concerning anything we said previously here today, but rather everybody agrees that there's no concept of Dmai on Ma'aser Sheni. When Amoritz gives you Ma'aser Sheni, I assume it's not Dmai, but it's definite Ma'aser Sheni. Why does it say? Because also Asokito Sefes Abikurim, they made it like additional amounts of Bikurim above and beyond what you have to give. Mato Sefes Abikurim Nechos Betaro Beturim in Dmai, just like additional amounts of Bikurim are eaten and you are tor and you're exempt from Dmai, because we assume that the Amoritz tithes properly that which he's bringing up as Ma'aser Yerushalmi. I've said Acham Mishum Sheni Potter Rishon, so too in this case. Oh, just like the Mato says Bikurim Nechos B'tar P'turim Dmai means just like the additional amount which you add on Bikurim in the base of Mikdash is exempt from Dmai, because I assume it has the status of Bikurim. So too Avka Zen Acham Mishum Sheni Potter Rishon. So also here we say that this can be eaten because it's Sheni and it's exempt from Rishon. Why? Because here I trust the guy that he must be stomach, he did both components, and that's really returning to our Gemara after that digression into Dmai and to Bikurim. Atz Rabbi Chanina, B'Shem Rabbi Yossi, the Rabbi Eliezer he. And in fact, Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Yossi said that this Beis Hillel is going to Rabbi Eliezer, that a person who's penalized is believed to say that it's believed to say that he's taken it's not really penalized him. A person who left the Ma'aser Sheni is believed to say that he also took off Ma'aser Rishon, or I even assume in this case, since his father is of course dead, I assume that he took off the Ma'aser Rishon properly. Okay, says the one Mishnah further. Any way that you find the street, no matter where you find them, except in the base of Mikdash, Rashi says the rega when people bought a lot of Ma'aser Sheni to Yerushalmi, so then Arelu Chulin, you assume that the money is Chulin. Even there's a wide array of coins. I say the coins were not hoarded for the purpose of creating Ma'aser Sheni, but were hoarded just to safeguard a treasure or whatever the case may be.
These are in the streets of Yerushalmi.
What?
They found these coins
anywhere outside Beis HaMikdash.
So why don't they think that it's...
Oh, no, I'm sorry, you're right. Anywhere outside Yerushalmi.
Outside Yerushalmi.
Outside Yerushalmi, yeah. Okay? Matzah b'soch and cheres. What do you find in the money?
You know what the Moshe says, call out Moshe and he saw him in Yerushalayim.
What?
And Moshe says, and he saw him in Yerushalayim.
When he says in Yerushalayim? It means in Yerushalayim, I assume that it's not from Ma'aser Sheni. Okay?
That doesn't make sense to me.
Why?
Because you
have a rope.
Yeah.
Most of the money wasn't Ma'aser Sheni.
Certain times a year, though, it was.
True. But we're talking about other time. We're talking about off-peak then here. Okay? So,
It consider chulin that feel hockey and choshin without the benimsa b'shari Ma'aser Sheni, the benimsa b'shas haregel, hakol ma'aser, hakol mivini mon mois ma'aser.
Yeah, only on Yontif. I didn't say that only on Yontif. Sorry, I meant to say that. Only on Yontif, the Mishnah doesn't hold true. That's right. Okay, because they didn't bring Ma'aser Sheni there. Okay. Even money of even if you find gold and silver and copper together, which means it probably was redeeming one on the other, one come on the other. Nonetheless, I don't consider that there's any Meiser money there. Matzah b'sochen cheres. If you found a piece of pottery in the hoard of money, because of a Meiser, and it says on it Meiser, so then we assume it's Meiser. Harez a Meiser. V'hamotzei clay keli because of the korban. If you find a vessel and it says on the vessel korban. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ima yashel cheres. If it was a pottery vessel, hu chulin. I assume that it was chulin previously, and anything in it was chulin because most people don't make a kli cheres korban. It's not usually done. And umashus. Stupid mistake on my part. If it was made out of pottery, then we assume that the pot may have been well traced. Not traced. What?
You say tola?
Yeah, it's chulin, should be. Sorry. I should not be this tired tonight. I don't know what's going on. It's a tough week. Says the vessel itself is chulin. Korban, that which is in it is a korban.
This is korban doesn't mean hektish.
Anything, it depends. Whatever it's more suitable for. Yeah. Money designated for korban, money designated for Ma'aser Sheni, payroll some Ma'aser Sheni, and so on and so forth. If the vessel is metal, who korban, that the vessel itself is a korban, that which is within it is chulin. In other words, cheres is never made to korban because then it's going to get ruined and you have to break it. So therefore I say only the contents might well be kadosh. However, the exact opposite is true by metal. By metal, the outer keli is what's kadosh, right? It can be constantly renewed, can be constantly kosher. So therefore, I'm not afraid of making a korban, because if I don't want to keep it as a korban or korban and it becomes nosar, I'll just remake it, whatever the case may be. However, again, then the contents of the korban, no, the vessel itself is a korban because it's reusable. So therefore, why shouldn't they make korban? But that which is in it is considered to be chulin. Amrulo, so they said, nice try, but ain't there from the Adam Leos konsim chulin b'korban. Most people do not bring chulin into the base of mikdash. That's what it really means, and therefore. Yeah, chulin inside the metal keli, right? So therefore, in the metal keli, even not just the metal is tamei, but also the money inside is also tamei. Because mistama, it was a metal keli, which is tamei, so whatever is in it is tamei as well. Okay, it's carbon. It's right. Rabbanan hold that whatever's inside becomes a korban. They argue and they hold it's a korban. Right? Meir holds only the vessel itself is a korban. Right? Meir holds even what the Rabbanan hold whatever's in it is a korban as well. Mistama, as the vessel goes, so the contents go. Okay. Again, it's a chumrah, and we still assume that the whole thing is a korban. Hamotzi keli, somebody finds a vessel. Ukasavul of kuf. Has a kuf on it. We say it means korban. Mem means meiser. Dalas, Dmai. Tes means tevil. Tov, truma. Why didn't they worry out Truma? Because they didn't want people to know that it was Truma. Rabbi Yossi Meir because of time and danger. Rabbi Yossi Meir, no, all these, he argues on Tanakama, he says that all these abbreviations are names. They don't have any indication of Qadr status. Okay? Rabbi Yossi Meir B'chun Shemus Adamei. Rabbi Yossi Meir said, you should know. You find a barrel and it's full of fruit. Because I love Truma, it says Truma on it. I assume it's Chulin. Why? Shani Yomer, I say Eshtakad. Last year, when you made the market, it Oisam Leah Peros to Truma. Then it held fruit of Truma. Upina, but in the meantime, that is all gone, that whole crop. Homer leave no, so therefore now you assume that whatever it's this year's is what its status is. Homer leave no. When somebody says to his son, Ma'aser Sheni b'zavizu, I left you Ma'aser Sheni, it's his father's last will. I left you Ma'aser Sheni in that corner. Umatzu b'zavizu chertz, you find the money in another corner. I chulin, I assume that the money is chulin, even though it's the same amount the father said, $250.66. Making up the sum. Then I still assume that it's chulin because I say that this is not the money which he left. Yeah, well, here we're talking about specifically grain. In other words, he says I'm going to leave grain in one area of the house, and you find the same amount of grain somewhere else. I say it's not the grain he was talking about. If he said the grain I left Ma'aser Sheni, this is not Ma'aser Sheni. Okay?
So he's finding it in another place, same amount of grain.
But it's still not Ma'aser Sheni because I assume it came from somewhere else. How Omer leave no. Ma'aser Sheni again. Omer leave no. Ma'aser Sheni is of his own. He finds it in another corner. It's cool. What if the father said that you'll find $100 there, and he found $200 there? Masai and Motzamona, or vice versa. That he said there was 200, he only found the 100. So
the distinctions between money versus produce.
what?
The distinction is between money versus produce.
No, it's the same thing, isn't it?
The first part we said was cool because you said it was the grain itself.
Yeah.
Now we're saying it's the money, so there was a called Ma'aser because presumably.
Yeah, but look at the first place. If he left, if he says leaving 100, found 200 there, Ashar Chulin, and the rest of it is Chulin. Right, it's still not like the fruit, because the fruit, I say, the whole thing is. No, it is like the previous case. Again, Shamona, the fellow's dying said there's $100 there. Most of us I would find $200 there. Hakol Chashar Chulin. I assume that everything is Chulin.
100 of it is Ma'aser, and the leftover is Shah.
You're right. And the rest of it is Ma'aser Sheni. Similarly, Masai, we left 200 Matzah Mona. In that case, I say how called Ma'aser, everything is Ma'aser, because I assume that whatever's left is the Ma'aser. Yes, but what, is this not internally consistent?
I'm just trying to understand what is the it's too simple. The grain is one category.
Yeah. But why is it not the same principle? You found it somewhere else. I mean, the Gemara didn't discuss that by money, but you found it somewhere else. So that would be the same thing if you find the grain somewhere else. I'm not mechuyev to redeem it, or I assume that you're not mechuyev certainly to give you.
It's not the same because in the money there'll always be part of the money will be Ma'aser. In the grain, if you find it someplace else, the whole thing is full.
I understand. I'm not sure. Yeah.
But I think it's two different. I don't think you can compare the two.
He's gonna cut it off.
Why not? I still don't know why not.
Because in the grain,
Yeah.
it's either all or nothing.
Yeah.
In the money, it can be, half of it can be.
Oh, I see. That's a good argument. Okay. It's divisible as opposed to it's not divisible. That's possible. Okay, I like that. Okay. Shalota says more further. Shalot Well, why do you have to tell me all these abbreviations and stuff in our mission? Is it obvious? No. Shalot Tomar, we shouldn't say, oh, then Am Derech Miyodam, Lasos K. Since people don't do that, Yehei Sheni, so let it be Ma'aser Sheni. Yeah, so this time we about the mixture of coins in the Mishnah, where you said it's all chulin. So why you say shlotom rather than derech and lasos k? Since people don't normally do this, yehei shein, so therefore it should be ma'aser sheni. What should be ma'aser sheni? I don't know why we're not taking Ma'aser Rishon into account here. For some reason, not taking Ma'aser Rishon into account. We're talking about this case where you found the money. Of course not. We're talking about you found coins, and gold, silver, and copper coins all jumbled together. So I might say, don't say that. I say assume that there was a Rosh this is all. I don't assume it's Ma'aser Sheni. I assume it's all chulin, right? So isn't it pasha? So that's why Shlo Tomar Elvein Derech Miyodam Lasos Kain, since people don't mix and match their coins so frequently, right? So Yehei Sheni, so I might say that it is Ma'aser Sheni. L'fum Kain Tzarech Meir Chulin. That's what that tells that it's chulin. In other words, that I don't assume it's Ma'aser Sheni. I assume it's just chulin, even though you have various different denominations mixed together. Tani, we learned Aleph Dal Ches Tes Reish Mem Tov. We found any of these truma. And it's a valid truma. Now, truma, not specifically truma, but it is some form of restricted access to you. Meaning, the aleph, karmesa. It's the first, which is like bikurim or like truma, same concept. Dalit, demai, which means it's not forbidden, but it has to be still rectified first. Ches, chelbo. It's the best, which means that it's improper. It's improper for a person to eat it because it's truma, right? It's truma. Tes, tuvo, it's the best. Reish, is the first. Mem, ma'aser, slightly different variation. We're talking about trumas ma'aser. Tough, truma. There's a tough, it's truma. Baishin, if it says here he changes the girsa, the Rosh Sulei and others, they say Beis, pay, shin. If it says a Beis, a pay, or a shin, or sheni. Well, Beis, Beishin, Sheni. It says the worst way to read it. His correction is not clear. Beishin, if it says a Beis, it's Ma'aser Sheni. pay means it's also a Ma'aser Sheni. You pay, and then Yud is Ma'aser. Why is Yud Mem Ma'aser? I'm sorry, if it says Yud Mem, then it's considered to be Ma'aser. Yeah, because Yud is a tenth, which Meiser is, and Mem is actually the first letter of Meiser. So if I'm Beis, it stands for 2, which is Ma'aser Sheni. If I'm a Pei, it stands for the statement of obviously redeeming. And if you find a that has to be redeemed, and you find a Yud Mem, also in this case I say it's Meiser altogether. You have to send. You have to redeem it before you read it, or you have to use this money, Yerushalmi, and so on and so forth. Ma'aser Ir Purkan, if you find written on a barrel, there's the Ma'aser of the city, and it is redeemed. L'shem Yossi, if you find it says a barrel that this is Ma'aser for the purpose of Yossi. L'shem Shimon, the purpose of Ma'aser for the purpose of Shimon. Lalos B'ochim Yerushalayim, you find it written that this Ma'aser is for the purpose of bringing up to Yerushalayim. Chulin. I say in all these cases it's Chulin. How so? On the Yomer I say, even though it sounds pretty much like Ma'aser Sheni, because it says take her up to Yerushalayim, I say, Siboilos Osu B'nei, they decide to make a caravan. A class trip to go to Yerushalayim, and they're going to eat it on the way. So there's no indication that it's bona fide Ma'aser Sheni. Could be it's just wayfarers' food. It's food they're going to eat along the way.
It's labeled.
Right, but I can still get out of it. In other words, I assume all has to do with Ma'aser Sheni is one that being the Rabbana. It's all the Rabbanas, therefore we let them get away with all these things. Okay? D'oraisa, I don't think we let them get away with all this cool if it be D'oraisa. It's my impression. I can't prove it to you, but I'm pretty sure about that. Ad Kedun, that's all by it should be, so typo here, Yeshanos, by old vessels. So even though they have letters on them, here's another reason to be Mekel. And Truma. Last year was full of Truma Pina, now you removed it.
So they recycled them.
They recycle them. Kiyodar, like this Maisa. The Rabbi Yonah and Rabbi Yossi have a shoot from the garbe. Rabbi Yonah and Rabbi Yossi were partners in wine. Rabbi Yonah, when Rabbi Yonah died, Rabbi Mona, Rabbi Yossi, Mona, the son of Rabbi Yonah, said to Rabbi Yossi, his father's erstwhile partner, any barrel which it says Rabbi Yonah is mine because he's my father. Amarle, so he said baloney. Ishtakin havadidach. Last year it would have been yours, because last year's when we made all those bottles with the name Yonah on it. So I would have agreed to you that's your father's. However, the Ishtakin havadidach. Last year was yours. Ishtada today, TD, it's mine. Okay, so he says that even though it has the name Yonah on it, but it doesn't mean that we didn't share those bottles as well. So therefore, we assume that the shukvus applies to that as well.
Except this was just a partnership issue. This was not a Ma'aser Sheni issue.
But it's the same principle, right? Could be that by old vessels, could be used change over time.
Maybe people don't recycle barrels for Ma'aser Sheni.
They probably did. It was very expensive to make things back then. No mass production. Okay, but I don't know. That's what I assume. Matzah b'megufaso. It's similarly if you find the letter on the lid of the container, hareu kosav ala meiser. If it says on it that it's meiser,
It says the word, not just the initial.
yeah. No. He's right. When it says the word meiser from last year, so I believe it, except, why did I believe it? Maybe it's a different vessel than last year, right? Maybe they put something else in, so that was what I'm going to say. So, Hareo meiser, it's considered meiser, although the Gemara doesn't explain, he explains it because the seal is broken whenever they want to drink. So if it's tampered with, it would be evidence that it's resealed. Since he says an old seal and the seal looks old, so we assume that he is telling the truth, and that therefore we say that. No, he says it's a new seal. He wants to say it's a new seal, and therefore the wine in there is what? Ma'aser.
Oh, it's this year's.
This year's wine. So we say no, because you know why? Every time you open the lid, you break the lid, so it can't be last year's lid. So it's got to be... Oh, wait. Maybe you're right. Say it again what you wanted to just say a moment ago. He finds a new seal. In that case, I say for sure it's Ma'aser Sheni. The question is when an old seal says Ma'aser Sheni. So then we say it's not Ma'aser Sheni.
Is the old seal broken?
No, it's got to be Ma'aser Sheni regardless. As long as the seal's not broken, it's Ma'aser Sheni regardless. Why I say Manavshach. If it's new, so it's new. If it's old, last time he took it out, he would have broken the seal and made a new one. Because barrels, you don't break the barrel; they're not disposable. So therefore, whenever you open up, you make another seal. So therefore, he's saying that it might well be that it says on the barrel something which defines as being part of an estate of somebody, so then that's not broken each time, and maybe that's an old sign, not a new sign. But to say that to say what we're saying here, that it's on the top, on the lid is broken and reformed every time they use it. So if there's a lid on here which still says Truma on it, or tough on it, so Mistama, I assume that it's Truma and nothing else. Okay? Is that clear? Yeah? Okay. Says Gemara, Nischalfulo. What about if they got switched? What does that mean? Talmud learned over there by Masech the Beitza. The halacha is that before Shabbos or before Yotif, if you want to take birds on Yotif, you have to designate them. So Talmud, what happens if Zimin Shchorim, you went into your barn or your dovecot, you saw black doves or black pigeons, and you designated them. The next day you got up, Matzah Levonim, you found white ones in your hen. There's no sack of flour which covered them from head to toe either, or vice versa. Levonim, you wanted to have white ones. Matzah Shchorim, the next day you found black ones. Shnayim u'matzah shosher, you had two the one night, and next day you had three of them grazing there. They're all asurim, because I don't know what's produced properly and what's not produced properly, and so on and so forth. Did I skip? Shlosha matzah shnayim mutarim. If you start with 3 and you found 2, so then it's okay. Because they say, B'chlam Mosaimona, 100 got lost, but the 200 was originally there, so that's okay. Rabbi Yaakov said, the Rebbe. This is very specifically a Rebbe. The Tanya we learned, Mosaimona, in our Mishnah, we had the case where you were supposed to find 200, only found 100. Hamona Nita, Diva Rebbe. The money which you found is nito, meaning has to be taken up to Ma'aser Sheni, to Yerushalmi as Ma'aser Sheni. It is Ma'aser Sheni according to Rebbe. Chachamim say chulin. It's chulin because, and not like we said before, even if you find 100 less than you started with, so I still assume that it's Ma'aser Sheni. It's not Ma'aser Sheni. The Ma'aser Sheni money is gone because it's not the same sum which was left there. So this is a new kind of money. So what?
That would be equivalent to the grain issue, where the grain was found in another part of the house.
Yeah, but it's not like the case in Beitza. Because in Beitza we said if you left 300 and now there are 200 left, so then I say left 3 birds and now there's 2 birds left. So I say these 2 birds are 2 out of 3 which were originally there. Here we're not saying that, right? Okay. So it says the Gemara. So the Chortz Chachamim. So we neglect say no. True to be going like everybody there in Beitza. Shani because Zolin. Birds are different. Shadarkali frach. One can normally fly away. One can fly the coop and you'll still be left with 2. But money doesn't move on its own. If $100 of the sum you were told is missing, so I assume that somebody took the 200, put another 100 there. Otherwise, it wouldn't be 100 there. Money just doesn't take off spontaneously. So somebody made a switch. Okay?
You don't assume that someone just took 100 of the 200.
No, because he'd be a fool, right? It's taking it's taking it without permission. Take the whole 200. It's like Matzi. He took his whole 200. Somebody else came put 100 there. Okay. Rav Tani Rav Chalafter ben Shol said he had dover b'gozolim. He had dover b'beitzim. Rabbi Chalafter ben Shol said we're asking Akasha that. His name is true, says Rabbi Chalafter ben Shol, whether you start with birds or you start with eggs. Right? Now, eggs don't normally fly away. Yeah, there we say if you start off with 3 eggs and now you found 2 eggs, we assume it's okay. Even though they don't fly away on their own. So heavy to Rebbe, so it must be like Rebbe, right? Because again, like Rabbanan, we should say that the original eggs are gone and these are new eggs, right? So says the Gemara, no, you can still say a difference. You know what? There I say, he left the birds and he found the birds. Or he left the eggs and he found the eggs. So therefore, in that case, since he's the one who left them and he found them, so therefore I say that he should recognize them. Chachamim say he doesn't recognize them. Something's wrong. It must be that these are not the ones he left. Even though it's less of the pool, and I might say one rolled away or something, I don't say that, because otherwise he should recognize them. However, over here, Baram Hocha, it should be Avi Viniach, his father left him, Ubenoi Motza. In other words, he is now responsible to recognize it. So therefore, over here I say that it's possible that it's the same money, half of the same money. Okay? Says more. Right, because again, he didn't recognize it because it wasn't there to begin with. Rabbi Boom Bar Koin Amar Kum Rabbi Yesa, he said in front of Rabbi Yesa, B'Shem Ravacha, Ne Ravacha, Hori Rebbe Bar Zavta, Paskin, Ma'aser Sheni, called it the Rebbe, then whatever something's missing, I assume it's the original substance missing something. Haresha Mitzvah Ma'aser Shalavi. Okay, now actually that's the end of the sugya. Now we're starting a new sugya. A person was upset because he can't find his father's money, which his father left him as buried treasure. Near lo b'chaloim. So his father comes to him in a dream. It says, Kach v'kache. There's so and so much money. Go deeper, dig under the oak, and you'll find them there. Asuvda kumi de Rabbanan. Something like this came from a Rabbanan. They said, Divrei chalomas lo ma'alim lo maridin. Dreams don't make a difference, yes or no. Now, the thing is like this. His father also told him, that's the Yerushalmi brings down, his father told him it's Ma'aser Sheni money. I left you a pot of gold, but it's Ma'aser Sheni gold. So then, the guy asks, the child, so that what the Gemara is being Mechadish is, he goes, he digs, he gets the gold, he doesn't have to bring in his Ma'aser Sheni though. He doesn't have to bring in his Ma'aser Sheni. So ask the Gemara, Rabbi Yonah asked, Mitztayer v'chamei. The person was agonizing. Another detail on this, the son himself thought it's Ma'aser Sheni money. So he's mitzvah, he's yearning to find his Ma'aser Sheni money. V'chomi, and he saw his father in his dream come and say, they're yours, but they're Ma'aser Sheni money. V'ata marta, you're going to say that he doesn't have to assume they're Ma'aser Sheni money? Says Gemara, Rabbi Yossi said, Lo mistabra do lo. This doesn't make sense except Ba'u de lo mitztar v'chamei. The only time I say that he does that he gets to keep the money, it's not Ma'aser Sheni, is where he didn't think of Ma'aser Sheni during the day. Paramhacha. No. Lo mistabra do. It's not mistabra to say that it is Ma'aser Sheni, like the Tosefta says, except in the case where he didn't himself think and agonize over finding the Ma'aser Sheni before the dream. In that case, if his father came to him in the dream and said it's Ma'aser Sheni, he's got to believe his father. But here in our case, where the Gemara says you don't have to assume it's Ma'aser Sheni, why? It's Kemad Bar Nash Have. The way a person is, who call him, that's the way he dreams. In other words, in our case, I say the reason why he heard his father say it's Ma'aser Sheni money, when he told him to bury under the oak, is because he was thinking that it's Ma'aser Sheni money. So it's a self-fulfilling dream, as opposed to a case where he wasn't thinking of Ma'aser Sheni at all. In that case, if the father tells him the dream that's Ma'aser Sheni, he's got to listen to the father. Okay? Is that difference clear? Well, it's Freudian. Yeah, it's Freudian. The thing is, it's important to remember that it was preceded Freud by 1,500 years. Okay? Rabbi Yavir said, "Ma David Yos." Somebody wants to do well, other Rabbi Yossi, and he only consumes its Ma'aser Sheni money if he did not think of Ma'aser Sheni at all when he asked to see the dream. If he did think when he thought to see the dream, it's Ma'aser Sheni, then whatever he finds is not Ma'aser Sheni. Certain individual came to Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta. Amar Lady said to him, Chamis b'chumoi, I saw in my dream, Misamerli, this is brilliant. They saying to me, Ozel Kaputkia, go to Kaputkaya, Vat Mashkach Madlo Avuch, and there you'll find your father's treasure. Madlo literally means a load, but here means Ozel Avli Da'u Gafil Kaputkaya mean the Yemi. Did your father ever go to Kaputkaya in his life? Amar Le, Lo. He said, no, my father's never in Kaputkaya. Amarle, so he said to him, Ezo money eser sharion. Go based on. Go and count 10 rows of beams in your house. Vat mishkachach madlo da'avuch, and you'll find your father's treasure. Chos kappa de kuria, underneath the 10th beam in the roof. Why? Because kappa in Aramaic can mean beam, and dudakia is Greek for 10, right? Deka. So the dream, Kapukaya, this is mamish modern dream interpretation. The dream Kapukaya is the place name, took the place of 10th beam, right? Deka, Kappa, Kapukaya. It's brilliant. Okay? It worked, yeah. Well, they wanted to say it, but I'm assumption that it worked. The individual came to Rabbi Yisrael Chalafta. So he said, I saw in my dream, I was wearing a crown made of olives. So he said, you'll be upraised after several days. And another one came. He said, I saw in my dream, I said I was wearing a crown of olives. So he said, that milky, you're going to get flogged. So they said to him, Rebbe, to that guy who said you're going to be uplifted. The guy himself said this, sorry. To the guy who came before Amarta Dat Misrama, you said you're going to be uplifted. Okay, to me you're saying I'm going to get flogged? Where's justice? Amarle said, no. He saw olives when they were budding in his crown. Vad b'chavdai, you saw olives as twigs in your crown. So budding means greatness. twigs means flogging. So an individual came to Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi, Amar Lane, he said, I saw in my dream, I was giving olive oil to an olive tree. I was, irrigating it. Amar Lane, so he said, may your spirit expire. You had relations with your mother. In other words, you poured oil on the olive tree, meaning you went back to the source, and this is incestuous relations. What? Simon Hugum says what? Yeah, but this is all psychological. What? Yeah. Another one. Amar Leisi says, I saw in my dream, one of my eyes kissed the other one of my eyes. Amar Leisi said, may your spirit expire. You had relations with your own sister. He said, I saw in my dream that had 3 eyes. So here it's much more simple. He said, Tanurim at Ovid. You are a maker of ovens. To your own eyes. The Tanura, and another one was the eye, meaning the opening in the top of a tanur. Remember, Parakira was the opening on the top of the tanur. None of the individual came to Rabbi Yossi. He said, and I saw in my dream that had 4 ears. He said, Milui at, you are a wine, you fill wine barrels. Tied to naich, 2 were your own ears, but tied to unagar, the other were the 2 ears of the jug. Right, because jugs have ears, the handles on them. Chad bar Nashas Gabi Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi. None of the visual kid Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi. Amar Lei, so he said, Chamis b'chemoy, I saw in my dream, Briyasa Arkin Mikume, all the creatures are fleeing from before me. Amar Lei, so he said, that Maisis Uzziah, you're going to bring torches. The Chol Amma Arkin Mikodamach. I guess he was a torch bringer, he used to bring fire, a lamplighter. So everybody flees from you because they're afraid of your fire. Rabbi Shmuel, another individual came to Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Yossi. He said, I saw in my dream, because I was wearing one notebook, the Trei Asaluchin, which had 12 leaves in it. So he said, Istavodo Gavra, your donkey's saddle pack, Ismei Trei Asa Marakon, has 12 rips in it. Just like a pad is broken up, so to your saddlebag is broken up. Rabbi saw me swallowing a star in my dream. It's in the Bible as well. He said, may you expire, till you killed a Jew. You'll see if it says, Dorach Kochav Miyakov. There came out a star from Yaakov, so Jews are like stars. Rabbi Yossi, He says, I saw in my dream, Kalmei, Dahu Gavra, that my vineyard, Masik Chasin, is growing lettuce. So he said, Chamra Dahu Gavra Meifuk Basis, your wine is going to go out and become vinegary. Vad minsav chasim v'tzava kapsid. And you're going to take the lettuce and use the wine vinegar as a salad dressing. So that's why you saw lettuce in your vineyard. So he said, he said to him, I saw in my dream, meet Marli Hachen. I was being told this. Zrak etzbacha nachas. Throw that which is in your fingers. Amar Le, so Rabbi Shlomo said, Havli Groiv, and Amar Lach, pay me and I'll tell you what it means. So he didn't pay him. The next day he came back. Amar Le, so the next day he said, Chamis Chumoy, I saw in my dream, Midmali, said to me, Hachin, the following. To have a napach b'pumach, there'll be breath in your mouth. Amar Le, so Rabbi Shlomo said, Havli Groiv, give me wages, but Amar Lach, I'll tell you what it means. He didn't give him wages. Finally, a third time, Amalei, so he said to him, Chamis Chamoy, I saw in my dream, Hachi, Zaki Vetzbach, pick up your fingers. Okay? Amalei, so he said to him, listen, you idiot. Lo Amet Lo Chavli Agri, didn't I tell you, pay me? Vanar Malach, and I would tell you, Kad Itmar Lo Chachay, the first time you were told to throw that which was in your hands, Noch is Dilfa Bechitach, it meant that drippings were falling on your wheat. Dilfa means literally the drippings off the roof, and I guess it's a negative thing. When you got the second warning, your wheat got bloated. Obviously, it wasn't growing wheat; it was wheat which was packed away in a warehouse. Your wheat got bloated from coming into contact with such water, just like a person's breath bloats him up. Finally, when you're told, Zaki pick up your fingers, it's just like the grain, it means tzamchin. They started growing already. And once they start growing, they're ruined. There's nothing to do with them. You can't grind them and use them anymore. Okay? Chad Kute Amar, a certain Samaritan said, Ana Ezel, I'll go, Mafle, make fun, Bahadi Tzavi Udoiv, this old Jew. Asel Gabe, so he came to Rabbi Shlomo Rabbi Yossi. Amalei said, I saw my dream. Arba in 4 cedar trees. Vaba Shikman in 4 sycamore trees. Maknisa, and I saw also a bunch of reeds. And Adra, which were the bunch of reeds was the weight. Adra tours are the weight which a ox can carry, which an ox can carry. Faru Gavra and I, Yossi Mitrach, was sitting and dozing off. That was the dream. Amalei said, Shmuel said, Gavra, may your spirit expire. Leisa dan chalam. This is not a dream. You didn't dream anything. But Afilu Kain, nonetheless, Leisat Nofak Reik, and he ain't going free from this. Arbate Arze, the 4 cedars, Arbase Shitase Darsa, are the 4 parts of the frame of the bed. Abba Shikmin, the 4 sycamores, Arbait and Kurte Darsa, the 4 bed legs. Maknisa, and or the 4 posts. Maknisa, the reeds, Margulosa, are the legs of the bed. Adra, when you saw the load, Dolatim, that was a load of straw for the mattress. Torta, when you saw the ox, that's Etzba Asa, which means that that was like here it says a hide, which was spread, a hide which is spread on the mattress, because they used to make a mattress of straw and they used to have a hide spread on top of it. Now which you were sitting and sleeping, you're going to lie in your bed, lo chayiv lo mis, not alive and not dead. Knows you're going to be an invalid for the rest of your life for having come to mock me, and of course that's what happened. The Chan Havasla that befell him.
I know it wasn't a dream.
I don't know. I guess if you're a dream interpreter, you know the dream just made up. Chadi Isa Itisa, a certain woman should be Itisa, not Isa. That's the guy Rabbi Lezer came for Rabbi Lezer. So this is one of these great theological problems. This following Gemara. Amar Leishos, he said, Chamis b'chamayes on my dream. Tinyesa the Ba'avesa mitbra. I saw that the beams of my house are breaking down. Amar Lo, so he said that Molibar means you're going to give birth to a son, the Char, a male son. Azo, she went the other Baruch Char, and she had a male son. We saw Yoim in another time, as the boy lay, she came back to look for Rabbi Lezer again. Amrullah Tamidoi, and his student said, Leisuach is not here. Amrullah, but they said to her, Mat Boyamine, what do you want to ask him? Amrullah, so he said to them, Chamisayit, so I saw my dream, B'chamoy, in my dream, Tinyei, so again, the Baisa Mispara, that my house is broken down. Amrullah, he said, the Talmidim said, you're going to give birth to a son, Dechar, a male, Ubalo, they'll eat the some mates, but just like your house broke down, your husband's going to die. Karas Rabbi Lezer came back, for wherever he was, to Nunley of them. He told him the story. Amar alone, so he said to them, Ketautu Nvad Nefash, you killed the husband. Lama, why? The dream follows the interpretation. Shenemar says, like it's interpreted, that's what happened. You killed him. Rabbi Yochanan said, all dreams are self-fulfilling prophecies based on the interpretation, except for dreams about wine. Which? Except wine is in the middle? That may be. I don't remember. I never saw it, I should say. This is absolute. Some people drink wine and dream it's good to them. And some people drink wine and dream and it's bad for them. It's good for him. I'm already choice because it expands his horizons. I'm already choice of a ralo and orange drinks. It's bad for him because he does it to drown his sorrows. So an individual came to Rabbi Akiva, so he said, I saw in my dream, Rigli Katina, my leg is being chopped off and made smaller. Seems like a bad thing. On my leg, so he said to him, the Moado Maise, what it means is that a regel is coming. Get it? Foot, regel. So a regel is coming, a yontiv is coming, and it's going to be short, meaning it's going to be lacking flesh, because you won't have any meat to eat. So he interpreted the dream, which had such a terrible ramification, on a much more moderate level. And that's what happened. Another one came to the house, to Rabbi Akiva, he said to him, he said, I saw my dream, my leg was bloated, was fat. So he said to him, again, about your interpreting more Adam, I say, the Yontav is coming, the Islach Kupat Sagin, you'll have a lot of meat. Okay, just like the leg is fat. Now this is a beautiful one. Chad Batalmi to Rabbi Akiva, certain to Rabbi Akiva, have a Yosef, he was sitting. Vapim was shining, and his face was turned, he was depressed. Amar Loei, so Rabbi Akiva said, Malkain, what's going on here? Amar Loei, so he said, I'll tell you, Chamis Chimo, I saw in my dream three things. Class million caution, three difficult things. One, Ba'adrat Mais, you're going to die in Adar. That's what they show the Talmud. Two, V'nisan Leisacham, you're not going to see Nisan. You'll die in Adar, you're not going to see Nisan. Three, Umadat Zara Leisa Knash, that what you plant, you're not going to be able to gather. Amar Lei, so Rabbi Akiva said, Klaseyam Tavininun, they're all three good things. What does it mean, Ba'adar at Mayis? It means, Bahadra Doraisa, with the glory of Torah, which comes on people who are Meimisatmo Torah, who put themselves to death by struggling so difficult, so long, and so diligent in Torah. With that, you're going to be uplifted. Which could mean one of two things. According to the Yerushalmi, means you're not going to have miracles. Miracles only somebody who's not meritorious needs to get. But you'll have enough schusim that you don't need a miracle. Or the way the Yerushalmi interprets it, it means you won't have any nisyonis. Nisan here means nisyonis. You won't face any tests. Umadat zara leisa knash. And what does it mean that what you plant you're not going to gather? Madat molid. Any children who give birth to leis at kvar you will not bury, that will remain alive. Okay? Perek Chamishi.
In the dream where the things were breaking down, how come you interpreted that as the first interpretation, that it was a sun that was breaking down? When the breaking, that means the house is falling.
Yeah, but the woman's giving birth is like the house breaking open, so it can be interpreted positively. It's not what the Levi Yerushalmi says. It says a different shot, but that's my shot, and I like it. Okay? Says the Mishnah further. Kechem Evai. This is a Mishnah which appears in Bava Metzia as well in the Gemara. Kechem Evai, you have a vineyard in its fourth year, when of course it could be redeemed, and the coins by the Yerushalmi has status of Ma'aser Sheni. All the crop can be in Yerushalmi, or you can redeem the crop and buy food in Yerushalmi. So in order that people should know not to take for eat from it, but sign so they would mark it with clumps of dirt. So wayfarers should know that it's a revai. We show orla if it's a pathway, if it's a field of orla within the first 3 years. The charosses they mark it with pottery to show it just like pottery has no takana, so to this field has no takana, and even if you're poded until after 3 years are up. Until you acquire it for 3 years. The shok if it's a graveyard and you want to let people know not to go there, so the seed you take plaster, you melt it to make it extra special pure, and then you pour it in order to mark the grave. Gamliel said, so true b'shvius, only in Shemitah do you make these marks. Because during Shemitah, all land is hefker, and the guy has the right to go in and take from the land, the kerem revai or whatever the case may be. Do you have this parentheses here? Brackets, right. But any other year of the 6, let the Russia stuff his face and drop dead. Because he's a thief anyway. What right does he have to take her kerem revai or law or whatever it is? So the heck with him. Says the pious ones would leave the money over and they'd say, they wouldn't redeem all the kerem revai at once, because maybe they themselves would want to take her up Yerushalayim to eat it. But they would say, they could snide, whatever anybody would come and eat would be, as they ate it, would be redeemed on the money they set aside. Kerem revai chulei. Zuna shol Rabbi. Zuna asked Rabbi, Manisne, Kerem revai, neter revai. What are we talking about in this mission? Is it Kerem revai or neter revai? Kerem revai is vineyards, neter revai is orchards. Which one is it? So he said, Pukin Shalom Rabbi Yitzchak. Go ask Rabbi Yitzchak, Ruba the Great, the Bachnisle Komas Nisin, who's checked over and analyzed all the Mishnayos carefully. Nafkum Shalom, so they went and asked him. So he said to them, Kad Mesa, the first Mishnah, which is this Mishnah and the next Mishnah parak, Kerem Revai. They will tell you about Kerem Revai. The Tzniya, the subsequent Mishnah, is to tell you about Neter Revai. What's the difference? So here explains on the side, the Rash Shaleo says that our Mishnah is telling about Kerem. Why? Because we're afraid by Kerem people are going to come and partake, because they're trellised over fences, so people are going to take from the wine. And the next Mishnah is talking about, the next Mishnah really should be fused with this one. It's talking about bringing up the wine from all around Yerushalayim to be actually drunk in Yerushalayim, not to redeem it, in order to make simcha for all the people who came up for Yontif. But the rest of the parak, which is talking about more generic concepts, that's talking about neter revai, not kerem revai. Okay. Let's just a little bit more. Rabbi Yitzchak Mekabel Savaya. Rabbi Zira would rebuke the Savaya, the old man, to have and be Yomed. Rabbi Yitzchak was still around Rabbi Yitzchak's time, Rabbi Yitzchak Ruba's time, Rabbi Yitzchak Gray's time. Why they didn't learn all the Mishnayos for him? He knew Mishnayos so well. Everybody should go and learn from him, and Nebuch, not everybody was Zoicha. Okay, Tani, we learn Kerem Revai Mitzayah so B'tzuzas Adama. Alright, we'll leave this for next week. We can do lots for next week. Okay. What? We did. I got it. Are we up to date?